I was reborn as a golden-horned star behemoth. To keep evolving, I have devoured countless stars and was hunted by powerful figures from all major civilizations. I have traveled past innumerable stars over tens of thousands of years, until that unprecedented void collapse. I finally found Earth, the place I had dreamed of for so long. I found my way home. Today is the day. News came from the International Space Station. A behemoth as massive as a meteorite is descending toward Earth from the depths of the universe. Looking across the entire universe, scientists have long speculated whether Earth is the only place that nurtures life. The starry sky is brilliant, but humans have never managed to find any trace of a second civilization. In 1977, a probe named Voyager 1 launched from the Kennedy Space Center in the United States. It is still traveling alone in the universe to this day. It flies on all by itself, like a tiny speck of dust in the universe. More than 40 years have passed in the blink of an eye. Voyager 1 is still moving forward alone. It looks so tiny in the boundless darkness. Suddenly, a ball of flame burst out in the void. The probe hit something. It turned into wreckage in an instant. A tangerine spark bloomed in the darkness. There is no sound in space, but I felt the collision clearly. I stretched out my claw in the darkness and grabbed the wreckage. Two streams of scarlet gold light lit up in the starry sky. Those were my eyes, like two blazing suns, burning with traces of time. Starlight spilled down, illuminating this patch of void, vaguely outlining my colossal body. I am draped in stardust, crouching in the boundless universe. My form is like an unbroken range of dark mountains, stretching beyond the horizon. I lowered my head and stared at the wreckage in my claw. I spoke in fluent German and asked, "What is this?" My voice rumbled like thunder. If anyone were here right now, they would probably be scared out of their wits. When I saw the text on the wreckage clearly, my gaze sharpened instantly. This simple movement caused flames to soar into the sky immediately. Scarlet gold heat waves swept across a 100,000-meter radius, warping the surrounding void. I slowly stood up amid the flames. My scales clinked loudly. I stared intently at the wreckage in my claw. This is Voyager 1. I could not believe my eyes. As I looked at this token from my hometown, the entire universe seemed to fall silent. Flames rose in the void, casting light on my shadow. I stayed silent for a long time. I finally let out a long sigh and extinguished the flames around me. The word Earth made me a little dazed. Has it been tens of thousands of years since I went home? Standing in the vast, starry sky, waves stirred again in my previously calm heart. In the blink of an eye, I have been wandering the universe for a full 30,000 years. This universe is far more magnificent than humans can imagine. Over these 30,000 years, I gained immortality. I have witnessed stars being born out of nothingness. I have watched stars, as they die, burst out their final brilliant glow. I once landed on a newly born planet. On that barren land, I fed on boiling magma and slept deep in the planet's core. I have witnessed the glory of ancient clans. I have seen star regions filled with countless weapons. I have listened to the resonance between giant stars and ancient artifacts. How brilliant this starry sky is. How glorious this universe is. The miracle of life exists everywhere. During my 30,000 years of wandering, I have encountered countless civilizations. There were beast clans, there were void entities. There were races born with wings on their backs. All of them were seeking the path to immortality. It was not until then that I realized I was the legendary star behemoth, more noble than dragons, phoenixes, and Kylon, an existence of higher standing. Across the entire universe, my race is seen as a taboo and supreme treasure. Unfortunately, before I could celebrate for long, I was hunted by countless coveters. It's a star behemoth. Don't let it get away. Grab it now. Ha ha ha, it's actually a juvenile. I will never forget the greedy looks in those cultivators' eyes. They rushed at me, their eyes bloodshot. Star behemoths are way too precious. You rarely see one in a million years. They have extraordinary innate talents. Every part of their body is a supreme treasure. A single drop of blood, a single piece of bone, a single scale are all legendary treasures to those cultivators. The highest level of panacea over the past 30,000 years. I can't remember how many times I've fought life or death battles in the starry sky. I looked at the boundless starry sky in the distance and sighed softly. I never expected this remote star region to be the solar system. I still remember when I was first reborn. I was hunted by a group of cultivators in the Juhua Immortal Grotto. They held long swords and immortal beast-binding ropes. They beat me to the point I was covered in blood. I could only hide in a black hole to lick my wounds. I relied on devouring the enemy's corpses to break through my cultivation level. 20,000 years ago, I lost a leg and my tail when fighting for a supreme treasure in the Star Sea. I was trapped by thousands of white jade divine pillars. My flames went out. Half of my body was blown apart. Those elaborately dressed cultivators stood far away, their robes fluttering in the wind, laughing as they discussed how to split my body, but all of them ended up dying miserably. As a taboo star behemoth, the speed of my rise was so fast that it struck despair into all civilizations. Like a meteor cutting through the eternal sky, I destroyed those opponents who were once as powerful as mountains, one by one. I stirred up huge waves in the starry sky all by myself, making all civilizations that ever coveted me tremble with fear. But I still underestimated how despicable these civilizations could be. I only destroyed a dozen or so small civilizations and sects. They put me on the Starry Sky Most Wanted list. I even alerted those immortal old freaks in the Forbidden Lands. A bunch of old bastards who have lived for hundreds of thousands of years, almost at death's door. Yet they have unbelievably thick skin. I was too young after all. A lifespan of 30,000 years really means nothing in front of those old monsters. Hundreds of 100,000-year-old monsters led by the Sirius clan hid on my only path for a full 1,000 years, just to kill me alone. It was a brutal, bloody battle. It caught me completely off guard. Logically, I should have died for sure, but at the last moment, I activated the innate ability of a star behemoth, with the resolve to perish together with my enemies, tore open a huge rift in the starry sky, dragged 99% of the enemies into death with me. I passed out from exhaustion and fell into the chaotic void currents. Even I thought I would definitely die. I never expected that I would actually survive. I looked down at the mechanical wreckage in my claw. A flicker of expectation crossed my eyes. Earth, this familiar yet strange name. I've been looking for Earth all these years. I've traveled everywhere, trying to find any trace of this living civilization. But I never found anything. 30,000 years have passed just like that. Is it in that direction? I muttered to myself softly. Although it's only a planet with a primary level civilization, its location is so strangely remote. If it wasn't for this fate, I would never have been able to sense its existence at all. What's more, Earth is actually going through a spiritual energy revival. I can sense that Earth is changing. Although its aura is gradually growing stronger, it's still as fragile as a baby. If I were at my peak, I could destroy it with just a single burst of flame. This remote location is actually pretty good. At least it can buy me some time to recover. The injuries I sustained this time are way too serious. When those old freaks from the Forbidden Lands find this place, I will definitely give them a huge surprise. Time flies. I wonder what Earth looks like now. Where are all the people I used to know now? 30,000 years have passed. Can I still remember what they looked like? I let out a soft sigh. I turned into a streak of blazing flame, racing towards Earth with a tail of stardust trailing behind me. The universe fell silent again. Only bits of starlight twinkled in the dark. My figure had vanished at the edge of the boundless starry sky. At the same time, at the space agency of the southern nation on Earth, a blonde young man had just brewed a cup of coffee. He dropped a sugar cube into it. He crossed his legs leisurely and stirred it contentedly. His chubby colleague walked over, sighed and called Jerry. You're slacking off again. Hey, I'm here now, right? Thanks for covering for me. I'll set you up with a girl sometime. Oh, right, Mike. Anything special going on today? Everything's normal. Want to grab a bite after work? There's a new steakhouse on Hutton Corner. Their peppered filet mignon is amazing. Nah, I've got a date tonight. Jerry was sipping his coffee leisurely. Suddenly, his computer let out a string of shrill alarms. The blonde young man frowned. He clicked open a few pop-ups casually. The next second, the chubby colleague saw Jerry spit out all the coffee he just drank. He didn't even bother wiping his mouth. Jerry leaned over the computer. Eyes wide, he stared fixedly at the screen. His breathing even grew rapid. Oh my God, Tom. Come take a look at this right now. In the southern nation, shrill red alarms blared throughout the space agency in the capital. Everyone grew tense, countless staff members clutching files. Hurried down the corridors. Sir, Voyager 1 was destroyed by an unknown object a few days ago. This has caused huge uproar. The president has asked for a detailed report. Sir, the Hubble Space Telescope captured a set of photos today. We spotted an unknown object beyond Pluto. It's approaching Earth rapidly. It's expected to reach Earth today. Sir, I need access to the supercomputer. It will only take 15 minutes to calculate the data. In the central conference hall of the space agency, a group of people chattered around a middle-aged man in a suit. The middle-aged man rubbed his throbbing temples, stared intently at the photo, at the light spot flying from the direction of Pluto. He was woken up by all kinds of alert tones. His mind is still a mess right now. Finally, he couldn't stand it anymore. He slammed the file on the table. Bang! Shut up, all of you! Speak one by one. And can anyone tell me, what on earth is this light spot? At the same time, people hurried back and forth at the space agency in the capital of the John Nation. Inside the emergency conference hall, over a dozen highly respected elders were seated. They are all top scholars in Europe. Renowned professors from the University of Cambridge, astronomers, physicists, mathematicians, each of them is a world-renowned leading figure in their field. They have won countless awards. They are hailed as living encyclopedias. But today, these elders were all brought here by force. The director of the John Nation Space Agency is a smart and capable middle-aged man. He clapped his hands in a sharp, deliberate way. To get everyone's attention, one elder spoke coldly. I hope the John Nation government can give us a reasonable explanation. Dragging a half-dead old man like me away from my morning tea table by force, this kind of behavior will cause public outrage. All of you are my seniors, forcibly disturbing you for this emergency. I apologize to you all first. The middle-aged man bowed slightly, then his expression turned grave. I believe you all know. The Voyager 1 probe, right? It has already flown out of the solar system, but it was destroyed just a few days ago. The old scholars looked at each other in dismay. Ridiculous, a mathematician elder snorted coldly. Although Voyager 1 was built 40 years ago, it represented the pinnacle of global technology back then. Its orbit was precisely calculated. It won't hit a meteor or asteroid for at least hundreds of years, nor will it be captured by planetary gravity. The facts are right in front of you. The photo in front of you is the last image taken by Voyager 1, right before it was destroyed. The elders picked up the photos. After just one glance, their expressions changed completely. Although the photo is blurry, you can see a huge shadow, tangible starlight swirling around it. Anyone looking at this photo will feel an inexplicable sense of oppression. Everyone's breathing grew rapid. Their heart rate sped up. The same thought popped up in all their minds. What is this? Could it be an asteroid? They swallowed hard. A sense of panic rose in their hearts. A white-haired elder with the bearing of a proper English gentleman spoke up immediately. The photo we have in hand must be the last photo taken by Voyager. The elder who spoke was wearing gold-rimmed glasses and had deep, profound eyes. He is actually a renowned physicist and mathematician as well. Many of the old scholars looked at each other. They could all see the shock and unease in each other's eyes. That's right, the photo is very unclear, but it was indeed left by Voyager 1 before its destruction. A Nobel Prize-winning, internationally renowned physicist. The elder spoke. Then what is the thing in this photo? It looks like an asteroid. The director of the John Nation Space Agency slowly pressed a button. A blue 3D projection appeared in the middle of the table. It showed the 9 planets orbiting the sun. An elderly astronomer looked at the projection, stood up abruptly, clenching his fists. Wait, his expression changed. Pointed at a light spot somewhere. His voice was low. What is this light spot? I don't remember there being anything like this near Pluto. Another elderly astronomer pushed his glasses up. His voice seemed to be trembling a little. I don't remember this light spot either. Judging by the light it emits, it's at least twice the size of London. They are the top astronomers in the world. They know the solar system's star map like the back of their hands. None of them had ever seen this light spot before. The elder was silent for a moment, turned his head to look. Could this light spot be the thing in the photo? Everyone looked over. The John Nation Space Agency director took a deep breath. This light spot was captured on photos taken this morning. At 3 a.m. London time, it is wrapped in flames and light. Our current technology cannot identify it. It is estimated to be roughly twice the size of New York. It's now 12 p.m. London time. It has already reached the vicinity of Jupiter. The Space Agency director paused, let out a soft breath. We suspect this light spot is the same object as the one in the photo. Judging by its trajectory, it smashed Voyager 1, then headed straight for us. All of you are the top scientific talents. Do you have any thoughts on this? As soon as he finished speaking, the room fell dead silent. Only the 3D projector emitted a low hum. After a long while, an elder tapped the table gently. Let me confirm this again. What I mean is, this thing took 8 hours. To travel half the length of the solar system, the middle-aged Space Agency director gave a bitter smile. Nodded, to be exact, 8 hours and 30 minutes. The elder's eyes went blank. There was a soft thud. He collapsed weakly back into his chair. 8 hours. Not only him, all the scholars around collapsed back in their seats with pale faces. Only 8 hours? To cross half the solar system, when the dinosaurs went extinct hundreds of millions of years ago, the asteroid that caused it wasn't even this fast, was it? If this object hits Earth at this speed, at this point, everyone's scalp tingled with fear. It will absolutely be a catastrophic disaster. Human civilization will most likely be wiped out. The room fell into an eerie silence. Everyone was stunned by the news. A computer in the meeting room suddenly beeped. An old man appeared on the screen right then. He was a senior staff member from the UK Space Agency. He had been in charge of deep space observation for many years. He had published countless papers. He was extremely knowledgeable and was well known for his calm demeanor, but right now he was breathing erratically and extremely agitated. I know all of you are discussing the asteroid near Pluto, right? Its speed has suddenly increased, so its estimated arrival time is moved up. It will reach Earth around this evening and collide with our planet. The old man's panting voice echoed through the room. He was absolutely frantic. He cut off the communication right after delivering the notice and rushed to work out countermeasures. The rest of the people in the room felt their hands and feet growing colder and colder. They were all outstanding scholars. They could figure out the result with just a quick calculation. This asteroid is traveling at over 10 times the speed of sound. It can cover the distance in just a few hours. Voyager 1's 20-year journey. The dust from the asteroid's impact will engulf the entire Earth, bringing all kinds of radioactive substances and hazards with it. It's way worse than natural disasters like earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, or tsunamis. And its speed is still increasing right now. Humanity's most powerful weapon, nuclear warheads. Can we intercept it with them? Meanwhile, in a clean, tidy room in the imperial capital of the Han's Empire, it was packed with all kinds of people. An emergency multinational meeting was in progress. Most of them were blue 3D holographic projections, representing different countries. The representative of Han's was an old man in military uniform. He was the first to speak. I guess almost everyone is here, right? You all know about the asteroid, I assume. The Bingjang representative let out a cold snort. He glanced around the room. He was annoyed that the Han's representative spoke first. Who doesn't know about it? I propose that all countries enter first-level combat readiness immediately. I trust all of you have tacitly agreed. Not to release this news to the public, right? The representative of the state of Ao echoed his words. No, we haven't. All the country representatives present nodded gently. They knew that if the asteroid hit Earth, it would kick up massive amounts of dust, trigger catastrophic disasters, and put human civilization on the brink of extinction. If this news gets out to the public, it will definitely cause mass panic and riots. That's why all their countries had already taken measures. To block all related information, the Bingjang representative laced his fingers together and rested them on the table. If you want to destroy the asteroid, conventional methods won't work. Nuclear detonation is the only option. We need to unite and deal with this together. This is a disaster for all mankind. The representative of the southern nation slowly clenched his fist. His eyes were sparkling. That's why we can't afford to have any disagreements. I think the southern nation can take the lead in this operation. The Ao representative had a smile on his face and was just about to speak in agreement when he was coldly cut off by the Han's representative. The Han's representative tossed 2 documents onto the table. They spread out across the surface. Cut the crap. Look at these are high-definition photos. Our country just took near Pluto. The Southern Nation representative immediately narrowed his eyes and stared at the Han's representative. What I said wasn't crap. This concerns the future of all mankind. An operation like this needs a leader. Besides, you've been hiding such advanced space technology from everyone. The Han's representative responded coldly and refuted him bluntly without holding back. Hiding? Since when do we need to report our technological progress to you? The Southern Nation representative narrowed his eyes and said nothing. None of the other representatives around joined in the argument. The situation was extremely urgent. The asteroid was fast approaching. They all took the photo documents because they were genuinely curious. After all, even with the most advanced technology available today, space telescopes can't get a clear shot of the asteroid's appearance. It's wrapped in flowing light and flames. Its temperature is unbelievably high enough to distort light, and it's so far away that any photo comes out as nothing but a blurry halo of light. The UK representative looked up in disbelief at the Han's representative. You actually managed to take clear photos of it. That's not all. The other representatives were also staring at the photos in their hands, completely stunned. They were shocked not only by Hans's advanced technology, but also by what was shown in the photos. The asteroid was slightly blurry in the photo, but its general features were already visible. It was actually black and gold in color, wrapped in flames and starlight. It was as massive and sprawling as a mountain range, and right in front of this mountain range were two streaks of red gold flowing light. The light looked like a lion, imposing and awe-inspiring. You couldn't even bear to look directly at it. Just looking at the photo made their eyes sting. It felt like looking up at an insurmountable mountain, and a sense of insignificance washed over them. And this was just a photo. It was already this terrifying. What if they saw it in real life? Everyone in the room drew a sharp breath. Their throats went dry. Their hearts started beating uncontrollably fast. Even the Southern Nation representative slumped back in his seat. After a long silence, the OWL representative swallowed hard and asked, "Will nuclear warheads even work?" No one answered him. A heavy, oppressive feeling weighed on everyone's mind. All the representatives were filled with panic. Could human technology really stop this disaster? When they asked themselves that question, the answer they all came up with was no. Someone said out of nowhere, "We only have half a day at most. Before it arrives, how are we supposed to deal with it?" The invisible pressure descended like seawater, slow and heavy. It rose past their chests and shoulders, past their lips and noses, almost making them suffocate. Everyone panicked. Right at that moment, the computer screen in front of the Binjiang representative suddenly lit up. He glanced at it, his eyes almost popping out of his head. The Xinjiang representative's voice suddenly rose several pitches. He stood up in a fluster and asked in a panic, "Didn't we say it would arrive tonight? That thing is already at the moon. It's about to impact all the country." Representatives' hearts skipped a beat. They looked over in horror. It's coming this fast. It accelerated again. A voice suddenly came from the computer screen. The voice sounded a bit strange. "No, that's not the case. Sir, there's no sign that it's going to hit Earth. It stopped on the moon." The Xinjiang representative let out a long sigh of relief, then froze. "Phew, that's a relief." "Wait, the asteroid stopped on the moon." The voice from the other side spoke again. "To be precise, sir, that thing doesn't seem to be an asteroid at all. It looks like some kind of living creature, far beyond the starry sky." I suddenly increased my speed. I streaked across the universe like a shooting star. I reached the vicinity of the moon in an instant. I slowed down. Red gold flames rose around me. My 9 flame-like phoenix tail feathers retracted. I exhaled a breath of hot air. The blue planet was right in front of me. I thought to myself, have I reached Earth? In the boundless starry sky, I stopped near the moon. My pair of red gold eyes were scanning the light blue planet. As I breathed, a vast amount of starlight was drawn in and out with my breath. Under the colorful glazed light, my full form was revealed. A giant beast with 2 horns on its head, covered in black gold scales like those of a Qilin or Guqin. It had 9 gilded fire-like long tails growing from its back, just like phoenix tail feathers, which turned into a surging long river of blazing flames. I sighed to myself. It's been so long since I was last here. Meanwhile, space agencies of every country on Earth are in total chaos, because they've realized it's not a meteorite. The thing that had been weighing on every nation, suffocating them. The thing capable of wiping out human civilization isn't a meteorite after all. It's an extraterrestrial organism. Representatives from all nations have all learned of this news. They can barely hide the shock in their eyes. Walking through space in a physical body, its surrounding temperature is almost as hot as the sun. It crossed the entire solar system in half a day. In the council chamber, the representative from the Southern Nation is the first to heave a sigh of relief. Thank God it stopped. If it had kept descending and landed in Washington, D.C., for the Southern Nation, that would have been an absolute horrific catastrophe. All the national representatives feel a huge weight lift off their shoulders. They have a sense of having survived a disaster. Since it didn't enter Earth directly, the meteorite crisis is temporarily over. Representative Hans is the first to snap back to his senses. Holding back his excitement, he speaks in a low, deep voice. "Block the news, make sure the public never finds out. It would cause mass panic." The German representative nods as well, in agreement. "Before we figure out where it came from, we shouldn't act recklessly. Maybe we can try communicating with it to show our goodwill." The representative from the Western nation speaks up to ask, Representative Hans, at such a close distance, can you capture the appearance of this extraterrestrial creature? Representative Hans nods. We'll have photos sent over very soon. Everyone can't wait to receive them. Even Eagle Union is no exception. Everyone gasps sharply after seeing the photos. It's an unimaginably colossal giant beast. It's slightly blurry, but we can already make out its general form. It's wrapped in flames and starlight, covered in black gold scales. Its body is long and sleek, stretching like a mountain range. Every inch of its body brims with the aesthetic of raw power. Its eyes are a blinding red gold color. Like a god, no one dares to meet its gaze. Meanwhile, in the emergency council chambers of every country, countless renowned scholars glued to their screens also heave sighs of relief. In the council chamber of Nation A, a group of elderly men let out long sighs of relief. Thank goodness the meteorite didn't crash directly into the planet. The crisis is temporarily resolved for now. Who would have guessed it's a living creature? Some people are still confused. At the Austrian National Space Agency, people are discussing, what exactly is this extraterrestrial being doing? What does it look like? We can't get a clear shot at all. We can only make out a blurry figure. That area of outer space seems to be warped around it. And this is just the footage. If it actually descends on, can Earth's civilization withstand it? Meanwhile, at the Southern Nations Space Agency, a middle-aged man in a suit is yelling into a phone. What? You want me to get close? And film this thing. A voice comes from the other end of the line. Those are the president's exact words. The middle-aged man in the suit is furious right now. Are you insane? The crisis isn't over yet. How can we provoke it? A calm voice speaking English comes from the other end. This isn't provoking it, Sith. Calm down, please. We'll use satellites to film it from a safe, long distance. This is the first contact we have with an alien civilization. We, the Eagle Union, must seize this opportunity. This is a direct order from the president. We have to be the first to make contact with the alien civilization and communicate with it. The man in the suit takes a deep breath. This alien life form is far too mysterious. If something goes wrong, it could lead to huge trouble. I think impatience is obvious in the voice from the other end of the line. Remember your position. Follow the order. Even though he's extremely reluctant, the man in the suit finally nods. Yes, sir. He hangs up the phone. The man in the suit clenches his fist tightly. Please don't let anything go wrong. On the other side, I turn into a stream of light, traveling across countless distances in an instant, carrying light and heat. I appear directly above the Eagle Union space station. Looking at the Southern Nations space station, which is smaller than my finger, divine light flickers in my eyes. Is this the Southern Nations space station? Meanwhile, inside the Southern Nations space station in orbit, two young men are standing in front of a 10-meter-tall computer monitor. The short-haired young man in a spacesuit is sweating profusely. His back is already soaked through. He speaks shakily, his voice trembling. Hey, Hans, do you feel like it's getting hotter in here? The dark-haired young man, Hans, swallows hard. Huh? Must be an illusion. The temperature in the space station is constant. The two exchange a glance. An eerie silence falls over them. Their expressions are frozen as they stare rigidly ahead, their eyes glazed over. What the hell is this? In front of the 3-meter-tall computer monitor, a shadowy figure takes up the entire screen. It's hazy and indistinct. Its entire body wrapped in starlight and flames. The red-gold glow is blindingly bright. Just looking at it makes the two of them feel like they can't breathe. A few minutes ago, the system detected an impact of terrifying power, speeding toward them from the edge of the solar system. The alarm woke them up. The two were absolutely stunned. They were just about to report back to Earth when they found that 90% of the electronic devices had malfunctioned. Then, they saw this little sun-like object appear above the space station. Looking outside, the two men swallowed hard, their faces pale with fear. They could clearly see some parts on the outer section of the space station were melting. These parts are made of ceramic metal, the best aerospace material available, the pinnacle of Earth's most advanced technology, designed to withstand extreme high temperatures. Yet they're melting right now. A crisp cracking sound. Hans looks down and sees that the egg in his hand is almost cooked. It was raw before, supposed to be his lunch. The short-haired young man is shaking, his voice cracking with tears. Hans's face is deathly pale. Looks like we're gonna die for the Southern Nation today. A soft cracking sound. Hans and the other man jolt in shock, their hair standing on end. They turn their heads at the same time. A meter is floating in midair out of nowhere. It's a timing device. It records all the lost time on Earth. The date, the next second, a dark rift opens up and swallows the meter whole. It vanishes into thin air. Hans and his friend's eyes go wide instantly. Their mouths open wide enough to fit 3 eggs. Beeping sounds go off as all kinds of indicator lights flash on. The two men then realize, not only has the meter disappeared, that mysterious being is gone too. The oppressive pressure vanishes completely. The two men who just escaped death exchange a glance and fall to their knees with a thud. Sweat pours off them like a stream. That was so terrifying. A thing that huge, in the blink of an eye, just disappeared. After they calmed down a little, the short-haired young man scrambles to his feet. "Hurry, notify the Eagle Union ground control." We saw a god today, in the empty void of space. I look at this precise instrument and exhale softly. It's only been 3 years since I left. No wonder everything on Earth looks so familiar. I was reborn 30,000 years ago. Then I spent 30,000 years roaming the universe. Now Earth is exactly the same as it was in my past life. Only 3 years have passed here. I narrow my eyes, looking down at the sapphire blue planet. Spiritual energy is indeed reviving here. Earth's aura is growing stronger by the day. There are faintly some extraordinary things hidden deep within. Maybe there was once a brilliant and magnificent civilization here. The Sirius clan, to be exact, the 9 Nether Sirius clan. Light glows brightly in my eyes. Over the past 30,000 years, I have survived countless disasters and relentless pursuits. But I have never been this badly wounded. This is the first time ever. But the Sirius clan didn't get off easy either. I chose to perish together with them. One single move destroyed almost 99% of their total power. I lower my head and look down. Earth is in the process of reviving. Though its power is very weak right now, it will definitely be discovered by extraterrestrial civilizations sooner or later. But this window of time is enough for me to heal and rise again. As I wander around, I place all around Earth's periphery, flame runes in the surrounding void, to guard against potential hidden risks. That's the lesson I learned from that sneak attack. You can never be too careful when you're out in the universe. While I'm drifting around in outer space, the surface below is in complete, utter chaos. General, the military representative from Washington sits at the multinational conference table, asks anxiously. We still can't get any clear footage of it. The representative of Albin speaks up. We can't capture it on film at all. The space around it is completely distorted. Only Han's equipment can barely get a rough outline, but it's even blurrier than the earlier footage. The representative of the Southern Kingdom looks deathly pale. At this rate, how much more are we going to lose? Because they noticed that the extraterrestrial life has not landed on Earth at all. It's just orbiting around Earth aimlessly, just wandering around unconsciously. Satellites from every country are raining down from orbit. The worst part is, that extraterrestrial life specifically heads for areas with the highest concentration of satellites. Actually, this isn't my fault at all. I need to set up a series of formations, and the areas with the densest satellite coverage are usually the best spots for monitoring the entire Earth. After all, these satellites are all placed in space. At the most optimal positions, they were precisely calculated to be there. I set up formations in these spots because I have a strong hunch. Someday in the near future, these formations will definitely come in very handy. I was extremely seriously injured this time, but my vitality is unbelievably tenacious. As long as I didn't die on the spot, no matter how severe my injuries are, I can fully recover within just a few years. This is exactly one of the advantages that kept me alive wandering the stars for 30,000 years. I bury a glittering supreme treasure deep in the starry sky. Look up into the far reaches of the cosmos. Let out a cold breath. You definitely won't miss a precious planet like this, right? Let me leave a huge surprise here for you. You definitely won't be disappointed when the time comes. The national representatives on the ground have no idea what I'm thinking. They think I'm just curious. So I'm hovering around the satellites, faced with all the destruction I'm causing. All countries on Earth are completely helpless. As for trying to communicate or make contact, how can we get close with such a high temperature surrounding it? We'd melt into ash before we even get near. Everyone is as anxious as a cat on a hot tin roof. They can only watch the destruction unfold helplessly. A bald director of the ASAN National Space Agency is staring fixedly at the electronic screen in front of him. He's so distressed he can't even cry. That's our country's satellite. Stay away from it. With a burst of brilliant, fiery light, several more satellites from ASAN burst into flames and plummet down. The bald director's face turns purple with suppressed rage. How can it move so fast? That's impossible. What in the world is that creature? A mustached director of Albin's space agency is staring blankly with wide, unblinking eyes at the electronic screen, not daring to even breathe loudly. Because just today, Albin's space program has suffered an unprecedented catastrophic disaster. Countless satellites have been destroyed and fallen from space. The two satellites showing on the electronic screen right now are the very last two satellites belonging to Albin, with two bright streaks of light. The middle-aged man with a mustache is so furious his eyes almost pop out. He jumps 3 feet into the air. Stay away from this area. Go bother Hans next door, they're preparing for war. Great Albin can't just be pushed around like this. In the multinational conference hall, the representative of the Western Kingdom stares at the screen, his voice trembling violently. His whole body is shaking uncontrollably. Leave the Great Western Kingdom alone, please. We already lost 3 satellites. These are the very last few we have. Several balls of bright light explode on screen. The Western Kingdom representative collapses limply onto the conference table, as if all the strength has been drained from his body. His eyes are completely empty and glazed over. The Tsar Kingdom representative sees this scene. Sneers, aren't you the ones claiming to be the #1 country in Asia? Look at Hans over there. They lost 20 satellites. They didn't even make a single sound of complaint. The Hans representative glares at him angrily. Are you making fun of us right now? You lost around 20 satellites too, didn't you? Right now, the Southern Kingdom representative's face is dark with rage, because they were the ones who sent probes to contact the extraterrestrial life, trying to seize the first opportunity to gain an advantage. So among all the satellites that have been destroyed, at least half of them belong to the Southern Kingdom. The Southern Kingdom's total losses have reached $100 billion. The entire meeting room falls into dead silence. As for the computer screen, no one even dares to look at it anymore. The footage that keeps coming through would only make their hearts bleed more. After a long, drawn-out silence, the Hans representative is the first to speak up. What exactly is this creature? Why is it deliberately destroying our satellites? The previously arrogant Southern Kingdom representative has quieted down completely now. It's painfully obvious. It wields power we can never hope to fight against. The ASEAN representative's eyes are still slightly red. He no longer has that arrogant, cocky look. That overbearing attitude he used to have is completely gone. I suggest all countries immediately set up defense systems, but we absolutely must not provoke it first. We have to attempt contact in a completely peaceful manner. The representatives glance at each other. They all nod in agreement. No one dares to object to this suggestion right now, because this extraterrestrial life is just too overwhelmingly powerful. The power it has displayed so far is on a completely different level from any technology we possess. Then the Tsar Kingdom representative frowns and speaks suddenly. Representative of the Southern Kingdom. Aren't those satellites on screen yours? The Southern Kingdom representative is stunned for a second. Then his face turns bright green instantly, because he sees on the electronic screen the last few dozen remaining satellites of the Southern Kingdom are slowly floating directly towards the extraterrestrial life. Not only that, among this group of drifting satellites, there are even the last few precious vital satellites of the Western Kingdom mixed in. The Western Kingdom representative sees this. His eyes roll back in his head. He lets out a small grunt and faints neatly on the spot. The Southern Kingdom representative figures out what happened in an instant. Next to the extraterrestrial life, it seems 90% of all electronic devices stop working properly. The Southern Kingdom didn't know this before. They decided to try to make contact first to get an advantage. Now, when they finally realize what's happening, they find the electronic systems on the satellites have all malfunctioned, so they can't control these satellites at all, let alone command them to return to orbit. The Southern Kingdom representative collapses onto the table instantly. His face is deathly pale. How could this happen? The Tsar Kingdom representative mocks mercilessly with a laugh, looking thoroughly amused at their misfortune. You wanted to be the first to make contact without even having the strength to back it up. Stupid. Meanwhile, on the other side, in the dark, endless expanse of outer space, I stand amid swirling flames and starlight. I extend one claw forward. 5 long, slender, black gold sharp claws, glinting with a cold, sharp light. Over these 30,000 years, I've long forgotten how much blood it has been stained with. Glides gently, tears through the fabric of space. I tuck in a faintly glowing purple gemstone. I turn around and smooth out the spatial rift. The last setup is done. Time to head to Earth. I can sense there seem to be a few good things on Earth. A planet that rises from ruins like this always has a few hidden gems. Give me some time, and I'll make a full recovery. I'll be waiting for you all. There's plenty of time. Finally, I glance at the cluster of satellites around me. Looking at the markings on them, they seem to belong to the southern nation. I feel nothing about it. I just give them a quick sweep of my gaze. All these satellites explode into fireballs instantly, burn to ashes in space. I pay them no more mind. Turn around to observe Earth. Start picking a landing spot. In Washington, the president of the southern nation clenches his fists tightly, slams his fist hard on the desk. 36 whole satellites. Got destroyed just like that, so easily. This is a total stab right at the southern nation's lifeline. The president of the southern nation takes a deep breath. His eyes are filled with unwillingness. We shot ourselves in the foot. Not right now. Sooner or later. The southern nation will make you pay for all of this. The president of the western nation slumps back in his seat too. His eyes are glazed over. He presses his lips tightly together. He's kicking himself for what happened. We lost so bad this time it hurts. At the same time, parliament halls of all nations fall into long silence again. Representatives of various nations speak up. We have to make contact with it. The power this alien civilization has is way too strong. We need a peaceful solution. No nation's object. Seconded, I second it too. Wait, look at this. That extraterrestrial being, it seems to be heading for Earth. The Han's representative is halfway through his sentence, suddenly stands up with a jolt. His eyes are wide with horror. It's finally ready to land on Earth. All representatives have stiff, frozen faces. Is the alien life finally coming to Earth? No one knows where it will land. All national representatives mutter quietly to themselves, staring fixedly at the big screen. Which country will be the first guinea pig? Please don't let it be my country. On Earth, Han's territory, some citizens suddenly notice something wrong that day. They hold their phones and their laptops, tapping away at them, looking very annoyed. What's going on? The internet is so laggy I can't even stream a movie properly. On the street, a shirtless man is holding up his pants, making a call anxiously. Wait, let me explain. It's not what you think. Why is there no signal? The entire Han's territory has internet issues that day, especially over the sea areas. Places that rely on communication satellites are having even bigger problems. Countless people complain about Han's 3 major communication companies. Complaint hotlines are completely flooded. In fact, even these 3 big Han's companies have no clue what happened. They stammer and can't give any explanation. They're just as confused as everyone else. As low-level employees, of course they have no way of knowing. Half of all Han's satellites have been destroyed. Both military and civilian satellites all suffered heavy losses. Even the top executives of the 3 big companies are completely dumbfounded too. This isn't just happening in Han's territory, but also in John Nation, Southern Nation, Tsar Nation, Western Nation, and Asan Nation, Oban Nation, citizens of every country across the globe. Notice their internet is acting up? But as night falls, over Han's I descend with starlight and endless roaring. A tiny glint of red gold light pierces through the clouds, slices through the sky, plunges toward the distance, shocks the entire Han's territory. In New York, a group of young men are playing basketball. Suddenly, the guy holding the ball freezes. The basketball falls to the ground. He stares blankly at the sky in the distance. His friends are confused for a second, just about to say something. They are also completely shocked by what's in the distance. A thin golden line streaks across the sky, splitting the sky in two. One young man speaks up. What is that? In the Western Nation, a bespectacled young man with a weird bowl cut is playing a game. Just when he's about to win, the internet lags so bad he gets kicked out of the game. The bowl cut guy twitches with anger. He looks up and freezes immediately. What is that? A meteor? In Tsar Nation, Russia. Countless people stand by their windows. The golden line slices through the dark night sky. They are completely awestruck. A golden meteor. It's so beautiful, come make a wish. Legend says if you make a wish on a meteor, good things will happen. This meteor has such a long tail flame after countless people in European countries get the news. Run out of their homes. Look up at the sky. Look, a golden meteor. That's unbelievable. And in Han's territory, everyone within Hans's borders sees it. This little golden glow blooms in the distant sky. A streak of red gold light cuts across the horizon, from left to right, splitting the drifting clouds and the entire sky in two. Indescribably beautiful. Everyone who sees this scene stares up blankly. Can't say a single word. This golden light is extremely thin and long. It almost wraps around 3/4 of the earth. Every living thing on Earth can see this meteor. All animals in the jungle lift their heads. Bears roar on the wasteland. Lions on the savannah look up too. Even in the vast oceans, countless whales surface, singing whale songs. Countless people are stunned. Media everywhere are reporting on it. Except for the unlucky southern nation, since all their satellites are destroyed. They can only rely on the few remaining civilian satellites for communication. This golden meteor goes viral across the world almost instantly. People everywhere are completely shocked, while people all over the world are reeling from the shock of the meteorite falling. Insiders like the space agencies of various countries have the exact opposite reaction. Great. The alien is actually landing in Han's territory. After calculating this result, everyone breathes a sigh of relief. This is an alien creature with off-the-charts combat power after all. Let Hans be the guinea pig. The mustached head of Aben Nation's space agency laughs loudly. Hans had the most satellites left intact before. They suffered the least losses. Looks like they're gonna pay for it all now. While many countries are gloating, they also don't forget to give orders. Remember, just let the people think it's a meteor. Never mention it's an extraterrestrial being. That would cause mass panic. Tell the media to report extensively that it's a falling meteor. Make sure you cover up the truth completely. Many countries are waiting to watch Hans's misfortune unfold. Some countries just shake their heads and sigh. In the National Parliament Hall, the Southern Nation representative suddenly looks up, tapping the table with one finger, says calmly, Hans has to cover this up. We can't let the public know it's an alien creature. It will cause panic. This isn't just your problem, Hans. The Hans representative's face is pale with rage. We don't need you to remind us. Hans knows that already. The Tsar Nation representative frowns slightly. Hurry up and evacuate the citizens. The Hans representative nods. We started doing that a long time ago. We are already evacuating the civilians. Evacuate the civilians. Is there still enough time now? There's no way we'll make it. The leaders of Alban and the Western Nation exchanged a glance. Both could see the schadenfreude in each other's eyes. This is going to be quite a show. At the same time, I traveled across most of the Earth high in the sky before arriving. It's not that I slowed down on purpose. It's because a force is holding me back. It slowed my speed drastically. What's more, I have a strange hunch. This hunch comes from the deepest part of my Star Beast bloodline. Whether I can explain it clearly or not doesn't matter. The greater the resistance, the more extraordinary this planet is. I just remember the last time I had this hunch. I found a million-year-old medicinal herb. After eating that herb, my power skyrocketed immediately. This hunch I'm having now is even stronger than the last one. I narrowed my eyes. This is interesting. I'm getting more and more curious about Earth. Right now, the meteor streaks across the sky. Meanwhile, in some countries, they know the inside story. And they don't hide their schadenfreude at all. Washington, Southern Nation. The defense minister of the Southern Nation is laughing heartily. Ha ha ha, Hans is really screwed this time. This will definitely hit Hans really hard. Just the impact of this alien creature crashing down will cause huge losses. The seismic waves it creates will spread over an unbelievably large area. The director of the Western Nation's space agency is sitting at the table with the defense minister, both grinning as they stare at the computer screen. Rough calculation shows the conservative estimate of losses is almost 10 billion. They also calculated that the meteor will crash in Hans, roughly near Kunlun Mountain. The Western Nation's defense minister said, Our great Western nation suffered such huge losses. All our satellites were destroyed. There's no way Hans gets away without paying the price. Other countries are also discussing heatedly what will happen after that alien life form lands. Let Hans be the guinea pig for this. We can take the chance to study the alien civilization. Only a few countries that are on good terms with Hans are worried that if Hans doesn't handle this well, there could be massive chaos. The losses could be catastrophic. Right now, no country has realized that this meteor marks the start of a glorious new era. When they finally figure it out later, they will regret it like crazy. At the same time, a golden stream cuts through the sky over Hans, leaving a reddish-gold streak across the dark night sky. It's dazzlingly bright. Countless people are snapping photos like crazy with their phones and cameras and posting them all over social media. In just a short while, the whole of Hans knows about the appearance of the reddish-gold meteor. It's also taking over the homepage of every website. But in the western region of Hans, some people are frowning. Hey, do you guys feel like the meteor looks a bit bigger now? And the light is brighter too. It looks like the meteor is coming down. Its trajectory is heading straight for Kunlun Mountain. Right now, the Han's Department of Defense is already in a total panic. The alien life form is arriving. It traveled across 3/4 of the Earth's sky. That sounds like a long distance, but it only took a few short minutes. The defense building is brightly lit. Countless people are sweating profusely, their eyes bloodshot. The huge room is eerily silent. Only the sound of furious keyboard tapping can be heard. A staff member reported to the commanding officer, "In such a short time, there's no way we can evacuate all the civilians. A lot of our satellites have been destroyed. Communication capacity has dropped drastically. Even sending out that one mass text was already pushing us to our limit." Our old defense director has eyes full of bloodshot veins. He turned his head and roared, "Shut up! Those are human lives we're talking about. Did the Western regional government send people to evacuate the public?" A young man is tapping his keyboard rapidly with his index finger, sweat pouring down his face like a stream. He also has bloodshot eyes as he stares at the screen, his voice hoarse. "They sent people out as soon as they got the order. But sir, I'm afraid it's already too late." At the herders' settlement near Kunlun Mountain, a group of herders are staring into the distance, dumbfounded. Over the lush pasture, a little boy tugs at his father's sleeve. "Dad, what's wrong with our cows and sheep?" There are tons of them gathered over there. Usually they get really restless at dusk, but today they're all kneeling on the ground, as if they're prostrating themselves, all looking east in unison. An old herder who's been tending flocks for decades wipes his eyes, completely shocked. What's going on here? It's been so many years. He's never seen anything like this happen before. Just then, a phone beeps, a text message comes in. Urgent notice from Han's Department of Defense. A meteor will crash today. Location near Kunlun Mountain, Hans. All residents within a 1,000-kilometer radius of Kunlun Mountain. Please take safety precautions. Evacuate immediately. Do not stay in the area, even though it's just a few short sentences. Everyone who sees the message gets a cold chill down their spine. A faint rumble of thunder can be heard. The group of herders swallow hard, trembling as they lift their heads, only to realize a dazzling meteor is already right above their heads before they know it. It hasn't landed yet, but the whole world is lit up, as bright as day. In the cities near Kunlun Mountain, car horns are blaring chaotically. Everyone is fleeing for their lives like crazy, but at this moment, countless people who were running away stop and stare up at the sky, dazed. A reddish gold sphere fills their entire field of vision. The whole world is dyed golden. Bathed in this magnificent golden glow, they feel more at peace than they ever have before. They let out a slow breath and give up the thought of running away. They murmur 3 words, "It's so beautiful." That spot of reddish gold light, under the watch of billions of people across the globe, streaks across most of the sky, trailing a blazing red tail, and slams hard into the peak of Kunlun Mountain. All the countries watching, like the Eagle Nation, Western Nation, Alban, and others, all burst out laughing. It finally hit. The western part of Hans is already unstable. It's the boundary of tectonic plates. With this impact, it could trigger a massive earthquake. Some countries are terrified of the arrival of the alien civilization, an unknown alien civilization. It destroyed so many satellites in outer space. We hope after this incident, Hans doesn't completely collapse. The alien civilization won't just affect Hans. The whole of Asia, even the whole Earth will be affected. Some countries just don't care. Acting like it's none of their business, they stare at the screen, ready to get a good look at what that giant beast really looks like, ready to carefully work out a countermeasure. But after waiting for a long time, all the countries watching the situation start to look really confused. That's weird. Why is nothing happening? Where's the explosion? Where's the fire? There are plenty of forests on Kunlun Mountain, right? How come they didn't catch fire from that high temperature? Wait, what's going on here? Kunlun Mountain is dead silent. Ever since that loud bang, there hasn't been a single sound coming from Kunlun Mountain. They wait for several minutes, still nothing but silence. As the dust clears, everyone's eyes go wide. They almost pop their eyes out in shock. Let alone explosions or fire, there's not even a single crater on Kunlun Mountain. It's like that meteor was totally fake. The defense minister of John Nation exclaims in shock, "What the hell is going on here?" It fell from the sky at that insane speed. Even if it was just a rock, it would have had the power of a missile, but now it's like it just vanished into thin air. Insiders from every country are totally confused. They have no clue what's going on. It's not just people from different countries. In the cities near the Kunlun Mountains, the people who didn't have time to evacuate are also completely bewildered. That's it. Wasn't it supposed to be a meteor strike? Bingjiang Space Agency. The middle-aged man in a suit stared intently at the satellite imagery of the Kunlun Mountains. He was trying to locate the extraterrestrial life. Could this alien life form be gentle? Is it intentionally avoiding damaging Earth? No sooner had he finished speaking than an alarm went off beside him. The beeping sound made the middle-aged man freeze. Then he crushed the water glass in his hand with a single squeeze. He turned his head, trembling. He knew that sound all too well. It had gone off countless times already today. Every time it beeps, it means that the Eagle Union satellite in outer space has exploded again. What's going on here? The extraterrestrial life is clearly gone already. Outer space. Why are the beeping alarms still going off non-stop? In the blink of an eye, all satellites monitoring the Kunlun Mountains were blown to smithereens. The middle-aged man in a suit looked like he'd been struck by lightning. He went completely rigid on the spot. A moment later, he jumped 3 feet in the air, then dropped to his knees. He yelled in utter despair, "What is happening? Who is targeting the southern nation? These are civilian satellites we forcibly requisitioned. They're all destroyed." It's not just the southern nation. All satellites monitoring the Kunlun Mountains. Those belonging to the Jan Kingdom, Zardom, Ao Kingdom, and A3 Nation, their satellites were all incinerated at the same time, even through the entire Earth's atmosphere. They were burned to dust in an instant. At this moment, every space agency on the planet went silent, staring at the completely static electronic screens. A chill ran down their spines. It felt like an icy, dark hand, reached across hundreds of millions of miles and pierced through their chests, slowly closing around their hearts. At the peak of the Kunlun Mountains, the scarlet gold glow dimmed. I have shrunk to 300 meters in length. My black gold scales clinked softly. I reared up, my 9 phoenix tail feathers turning scarlet gold. Long rivers of flame coiled around me. I spat out a burst of flame. I stared coldly into the distance. I noticed that in the previous wave of attacks, the Eagle Union and Ao Kingdom had the most satellites destroyed. For 30,000 years, I have traveled across the galaxy. I have witnessed the primordial era. I have encountered far too many beings. These countries on Earth have only existed for a little over 100 years at most. What's more, a 30,000-year lifespan for a star behemoth means I've just barely passed the newborn stage and entered the juvenile phase. These countries are nothing in my eyes. They are not worth mentioning at all. I looked around. All I saw was snow-capped mountains, draped in white snow. I exhaled slowly. I haven't been back for 30,000 years. I paced slowly through the snowy mountains under the night sky. My black gold scales glowed as 9 streams of fire swirled around me. Streaks of light fell from the starry sky and merged into my body. Starlight is a manifestation of the origin of the universe's great stars, absorbing the essence of stars. This is the innate ability of a star behemoth. I wiped my giant claws, stepping on the snow, leaving crisp crunching sounds behind. A 300-meter-long body is already the smallest I can compress myself. The reason star behemoths are called behemoths is precisely because of our enormous size. Legend has it, adult star behemoths can even feed on black holes, use stars as nourishment, and withstand the chaotic forces of the universe with their physical bodies. But for me to grow to that level, it will take who knows how many tens of millions of years. Ordinary cultivators, whether they are human or any other race, 100,000 years is already the limit of their longevity. Star behemoths are the longest living beings in the universe. Our lifespans start at tens of millions of years at minimum. Back then, the Sirius clan went to great lengths to capture me. Apart from wanting my forbidden divine powers, they also wanted to use my body as raw material, to make an immortality elixir, to extend their lifespans. Too bad their capture attempt failed. Their ambush and hunt also failed. Instead, it brought an almost apocalyptic disaster to their entire clan. I gazed far into the starry sky. My tone was calm. My scarlet gold vertical pupils were brimming with killing intent. They shouldn't be too far from here. I hope I get to see you come to Earth one day. Enemies will meet again sooner or later. I don't think it will be too long. I kept walking. I was surprised to find that the spiritual energy in the Kunlun Mountains is very abundant. It looks like there is a secret realm buried here. An underground location is wrapped in 5-colored mist. It hasn't been fully opened yet. My eyes glowed scarlet gold. I looked around. It's not just Kunlun. Are there things buried all over the Earth? Tian Shan Mountains, Alps, Caucasus Mountains, Himalayas, pyramids. An ancient spring is buried in the desert. As I blinked, light flickered in my eyes. I nodded. I really came to the right place. I thought of my friends. A rare hint of ease slipped into my tone. This place is great. Maybe I can reserve a few spots for them. They definitely won't pass up this kind of opportunity. After wandering the stars for so many years, the number of people I can call friends is less than the number of fingers on both hands. A faint smile appeared in my eyes. I kept searching. Is the next one that can be opened Mount Fuji in the Ao Kingdom? From the looks of it, it will be ripe in about a week. I'll wait a little while. As I lay prone on the Kunlun Mountains, waiting for the right time for the treasure to emerge, the internet has completely exploded. As countries urgently restored their communication networks, the impact of the golden meteor spread across the entire world. A video went completely viral online. It was footage of the meteor falling at the foot of the Kunlun Mountains. Brilliant starlight fell from the sky. Scarlet gold light spread everywhere. Just a few minutes after the video was uploaded, likes and saves instantly surpassed 100,000. That's so cool. Just looking at it. It's unbelievably beautiful. If I experienced it in person, what a magnificent sight that would be. Everyone was too shocked to speak. The oppressive aura from the golden meteor felt like it was coming through the screen. Just looking at it almost made people stop breathing. Some people were scared too. A meteor that big. Falling at that speed, it's no less powerful than a nuclear bomb, right? If it hit, it would cause an earthquake, wouldn't it? At least for hundreds of miles around. Nothing would survive, I'm afraid. Its impact would create a terrifying shockwave, way more powerful than a nuclear bomb. Countless people shook their heads and sighed online, but when they found out what actually happened, they were even more shocked. The meteor actually hit the Kunlun Mountains and caused no damage at all. It's a miracle, no way. I'm going there to see it. Countless media outlets and newspapers are sharing it like crazy, but some people who knew a bit of inside information posted doubts online. Is that really a meteor? Why didn't it cause any damage? There wasn't even any tremor. The communication networks have been bad lately. Could it have something to do with this meteor? As the incident continued to develop, all kinds of rumors started spreading everywhere. Just then, the U.S. Department of Defense suddenly held a press conference. The U.S. Secretary of Defense took the stage in person. Regarding the scarlet gold meteor, I'm sure you all are already aware of it. It comes from the depths of the universe. It landed in the Kunlun Mountains. It is a rare natural phenomenon. All information shall be subject to official statements. Don't panic. Don't believe anything circulating online. I can say this to all of you with full responsibility. He paused, and countless people held their breath. Amidst the flashes of countless press cameras, the Secretary of Defense adjusted his collar. He coughed lightly. That is absolutely a meteorite. As for other countries, they also expressed their stances one after another. Most of their statements were identical. All countries insisted that it was just an ordinary meteorite. If this fact were known, and people were told it wasn't a meteor, but an alien life form, and that no country has even figured out its true form yet, it would absolutely cause massive unrest. All countries are doing their best to suppress the news. They've all come forward to claim it's a meteorite. There's nothing to worry about. No matter what each country's own agenda is, their goals right now are surprisingly aligned. The Han side didn't suffer any losses either. They locked down Kunlun Mountain and relocated all residents within a 500-kilometer radius of the site. They also issued the same official statement. Because of this, the fact that the Crimson Gold meteor is actually an alien creature has been suppressed for the time being. At the same time, they're also grateful that the alien creature hasn't come out wandering around during this time, so their lie hasn't been exposed yet. This must be its way of showing goodwill. 2 or 3 days later, the topic of the Crimson Gold meteorite is still trending heavily. Flights to Hans from all over the world are already fully booked, but the area around Kunlun has long been locked down by Hans. There's no way to get in. Famous geologists have also traveled thousands of miles to get here, expressing their desire to research the meteorite at Kunlun, but they were forcibly ordered by Hans to turn back. Everything is calm on that front, so countries that were panicking over the arrival of the extraterrestrial life have gradually let their guard down. They're no longer on edge. Great. This extraterrestrial must be benevolent. Maybe we can send someone to negotiate with it. But those little schemes of these countries, I can see right through them instantly. I'm lying low in Kunlun, quietly absorbing star energy and the spiritual essence of heaven and earth, slowly recovering my strength, waiting for a few more days, until the time is right to take the treasure on Mount Fuji of Aoban. I'll make my move then. I reckon after I devour that treasure, my power should recover a fair bit. Meanwhile, on the other side, the National Assembly halls have been filled with arguments for 2 straight days. All countries have proposed sending a team to Kunlun to make contact with the extraterrestrial life. Kunlun Mountain right now has long been heavily locked down. It's not just Han's forces stationed there. There are also representatives from other countries. Even if their numbers are very small, they serve a surveillance purpose, stopping Hans from being the first to contact the alien life. The Hans representative slammed a finger on the table and said in a deep voice, "This is Han's territory." Naturally, Hans should be the first to make contact with it. The Aoban representative said angrily, "Hans gets first contact. Our Aoban country, in this incident, lost all of our satellites. Our losses are devastating. Aoban deserves to be the first country to make contact." The Western nation representative was not to be outdone. Ridiculous. Our great Western nation is the most developed country in Asia. We are qualified to be the first to contact the alien life. The Southern nation representative's eyes turned red with rage. Then what about our Southern nation? Dozens of our satellites were completely destroyed. Our losses are close to 10 billion. Who do we complain to? The Zardom representative spoke abruptly. That's your own fault for being reckless. Who else is there to blame? The Southern nation representative was instantly speechless. He clenched his fists, staring at the Zardom representative. His eyes looked like he wanted to tear him apart alive. "Stop it, both of you!" The other representatives quickly stepped in to mediate. "All right, stop arguing, everyone. Everyone wants to be the first to contact the alien life." Over this issue, countries have been arguing for over 30 hours straight without reaching any conclusion. Finally, all countries had to compromise. They decided to form a joint team, selecting the most elite personnel from several countries. They will train together for a period of time and officially enter Kunlun in 4 days to contact the alien life together. As for the leader of this team, the Hans representative tapped the table, his voice cold. "This is Hans' territory. Naturally, the leader will be from Hans. This is non-negotiable." The Eagle Union representative's eyes flickered slightly. He didn't object, but in reality, Eagle Union has already secretly sent an elite team, sending the joint team in 4 days. By the time you get there, we will have already made contact with the alien life. This kind of opportunity must be controlled by Eagle Union. On the far edge of Kunlun Mountain, the special ops team sent by Eagle Union has already snuck in through a border point, evading Hans's defenses, and are heading towards Kunlun Mountain. There are 11 of them in total, fully armed. The man leading them has a neat, nice-looking mustache. He used to be a soldier, and is now the top diplomatic expert of the Southern nation. He let out a long breath. "We finally made it in. Without alerting anyone. Remember the objective of this mission. Without my order, make sure you do not open fire. I know you are all elites of the Southern nation, and have made outstanding military achievements on the battlefield, but don't get careless. What you're going to face is an existence you absolutely cannot fight against. You must follow my orders." "Yes, sir," the 10 special ops soldiers answered in unison. But after the mustached captain turned and walked ahead, they curled their lips. They didn't really take his words to heart. "It's just a meteorite, right? Is there any need to make such a big fuss?" The mustached captain walked ahead, carefully observing his surroundings. Extremely alert. "Stay sharp, be on guard." The group behind him mumbled their affirmations in low voices. The mustached captain nodded. After he turned back around, one special ops soldier nudged the person next to him and lowered his voice. "What do you think is really up on Kunlun Mountain?" The other person said disdainfully. "They're just making a mountain out of a molehill." Another person chimed in. "Exactly, what could there be? It's just a stupid meteorite that fell down." Another person leaned over from the side, looking completely relaxed. "Maybe the meteorite has radiation. It could have mutated the animals in the forest. Sheep, wolves, bears. Then they send the army to investigate, and we return with a big victory." One person rolled his eyes. "Where did you make that up from?" That person shrugged. "Isn't that how it always goes in movies? As long as we all get military merits, that's fine. Come to think of it, we're even allowed to carry guns in Han's territory. Looks like the higher-ups take this meteorite really seriously. That golden meteorite. When I find it, I'll take a few photos and chip off a little piece while I'm at it. Maybe I can sell it for a good price." The two were working out the details of their plan. A person nearby couldn't stand watching them anymore and reminded them in a low voice. "All right, keep it down, everyone. We're still on a mission." Despite the warning, those two still didn't take Kunlun Mountain seriously at all. watching the mustached captain up ahead, who was being so careful that he practically stopped every 3 steps. The group got annoyed all of a sudden. Why is he being so cautious? He's dragging his feet so much. Can't we just find what we're looking for and leave quickly? I'm really scared the meteorite has radiation. Maybe it's actually an alien. The really vicious kind. Someone joked. Then I'll be the first person in human history to kill an alien. I'll go down in history forever. They kept walking. The mustached man up front suddenly raised his hand to give a secret signal. Stop! The special forces immediately crouched down and looked in that direction. Over a dozen wild wolves were hiding in the vegetation right now. The mustached man made a gesture. The special forces went quiet. They grew cautious and got into position. Over a dozen pairs of worried eyes flickered through the bushes. At this close distance, the killing intent hit them right in the face. The 11 Special Ops soldiers breathed softly, their nerves on edge. They chose to draw their knives and fight head-on, but the whole process went surprisingly smoothly. The soldiers barely put in any effort, and took out the whole wolf pack easily. One soldier dropped the wolf corpse and wiped the blood off his dagger. He sneered, saying these wolves have way too low alertness, don't they? They didn't notice us until we were this close. All the soldiers laughed and chatted along. Only the mustached man frowned tightly. He said in a deep voice, "Be careful. We might be close to the target already." All the soldiers agreed in unison, but deep down they cared even less about the warning. The mustached man frowned again. He was the only one who knew what fell on Kunlun Mountain wasn't a meteorite, but an alien life form. He was sent here to make contact. But for some reason, the higher-ups gave a strict order that this information can't be leaked to anyone. He was the only one allowed to know. Along the way, the mustached man grew more and more confused. Is that alien life form really as powerful as they said it was? He gripped the heavy firearm in his hand tightly and kept moving forward. After walking for several hours, the soldier finally found something. "Sir, come quick. There's a broken branch here." Everyone hurried over and saw a snapped branch hanging from the tree. Actually, I walked through this snowfield before, but my footprints were long covered by the wind and snow. The mustached man's eyes darted around. Judging from the break mark, this must have happened in the last day or two. The 10 soldiers held back their excitement. "Sir, come look at this. There are even burn marks on this tree trunk. It must be nearby. Search quickly in the direction the branch is pointing. Keep moving." Suddenly, one soldier stopped. He held out a hand. He said confusedly, "Do you guys feel like it's gotten colder around here?" At the same time, tens of thousands of meters away, in the frozen snowfield, a giant black gold beast was crouching, its black gold scales glinting, 9 tail feathers burning with blazing flames. What was shocking was, when the falling snowflakes landed on the flames, they didn't melt at all. Instead, they gently stuck to the surface. Sparkling and clear, I slowly opened my eyes, as if I didn't notice the 11 Special Ops soldiers at all. Then I lifted my head and looked out toward the east. My pair of vertical red gold pupils seemed to have lava flowing within them. That's the direction of Japan. The energy fluctuation from Mount Fuji is stronger than before. Wait a little longer. There are still 5 days left, right? The cold wind howled. They were already near the top of Kunlun Mountain. The temperature was dropping even lower. Even these special forces who had trekked through deserts and slept in swamps were struggling to bear the cold. They kept stamping their feet and shivering. One man yelled through chattering teeth in the cold wind, "Sir, are you sure it's around here?" The Special Forces captain was wrapped up head to toe, holding a device and scanning around anxiously. According to the trajectory calculation, it should be right around here. But why is there no sign of the alien life form at all? One soldier kept rubbing his hands together, huffing out puffs of white mist. "Is it really here? Sir, all the scenery on snow-capped mountains looks the same. What if we're looking in the wrong place?" "Yeah, this looks like nothing but a stretch of mountain ranges. Where's the supposed meteor crater? As far as the eye can see, it's all ice and snow, pure white everywhere. Forget about a meteorite. We barely even saw any regular rocks." The captain was also extremely confused. Logically, it should be right around here. The coordinates were calculated multiple times. They usually don't have errors. If we can't find it, that can only mean the alien life form moved on its own. Didn't we find burn marks and broken branches back there earlier? He punched the ground hard. The captain gritted his teeth, turned around and said, "Keep moving. Keep searching." All the soldiers took a deep breath and had no choice but to keep searching. They still found nothing. in front of a cliff. One soldier tapped on the rock. Man, this cliff is really hard. I wonder if it's because it's been polished by the cold wind all year round. This cliff is surprisingly smooth. It doesn't feel rough to the touch at all. It's extremely cold. And the weirdest part is, its color is a faint black gold. One soldier stretched out his finger and tapped it twice. It made a dull thudding sound. Is this some new type of rock? I've never seen black gold rock before. And it's so smooth, it feels more like metal. He thought for a moment, drew his dagger and struck it hard. Sparks flew everywhere. The result made the soldier's eyes widen in shock. How can it be this hard? There wasn't a single mark left on the rock. Not even a faint white scratch. Instead, the blade of his dagger got bent out of shape. The huge recoil made his entire arm go numb. Is this even a rock? The group of soldiers kept tapping and hitting, trying to chip off a piece, but they couldn't make a single dent no matter what they did. Instead, all of them ended up with numb arms from the recoil. Just when they gave up and were about to leave, to keep searching elsewhere, a sudden change occurred. The ground suddenly started shaking. Without any warning, the group of soldiers almost instinctively dropped to the ground. What's going on? Is that an earthquake? Oh my God! What is that? The wild wind howled. In the distant sky, a hazy, blurry black shadow suddenly rose up, tall and majestic. It shot straight up to the sky like a mountain. 2 dots of red-gold light suddenly exploded in the sky. A tsunami-like oppressive force fell from the sky, along with the gale, frost, and snow. Then a blinding red light rose up. 9 long rivers of red-gold flame suddenly rose up above the frozen snowfield. All the soldiers stared blankly at the being in front of them, too stunned to say a single word. I was unbelievably huge. They couldn't see my real appearance clearly. They could only feel an indescribable pressure. The cliff they thought they were standing in front of earlier was actually just one of my scales, and they were standing right on my paw. All the soldiers felt a chill run down their spines. Cold sweat instantly soaked through their backs. They had survived countless life and death situations and thought they could take anything in stride. But in front of me, they couldn't even bring themselves to turn around and run. Their minds were screaming in terror. Their brains went completely blank. No words could describe how terrified they were. Oh my God, this is a creature? No, I saw a god. The Special Forces soldiers all stared up in a daze. They were trembling violently like a sifting pan. Only the Special Forces captain was the first to snap back to his senses. He scrambled and rolled, jumping off the giant beast's claw. Run! The Special Forces captain looked back over his shoulder. His blood ran cold in an instant. A chill shot straight to the top of his head. His legs went weak and he nearly collapsed to his knees. Then I shifted slightly. Wisps of flame rose from the black gold scales covering my entire body. A wisp of flame happened to land right where they had been standing earlier. And then the captain watched as those men didn't even make a sound. They just vanished into nothingness right in the flames. Not even a speck of ash or remains was left behind. I shook my head lazily, like I was still half asleep. My body slowly shrank down to 300 meters tall. I lowered myself back to the ground, prostrate. As for the surviving Special Forces captain, and all the dead Special Forces soldiers, I never even glanced their way the entire time. 5 days later, the Council of Nations received a call. This is Kunlun Mountain Squad. Calling Washington HQ, we've discovered extraterrestrial life. Sir, I don't know how to describe it. You probably won't believe it. This alien life form is beyond incredible. Flames and snowflakes blend perfectly on it. Radiance hides death within it. I swear I saw an entire galaxy in its eyes. God, it's so huge. We actually ended up on its body. I'm the only one left in the squad. I don't have much time left either. My head is spinning. A shattered rock pierced straight through my abdomen. The bleeding won't stop. Sir, my vision is already blurring. I can't describe much more. It's indescribable. Proud, noble, gorgeous, radiant. It's intelligent. I've still got one last breath in me. I'm going to go up and talk to it. This is definitely the most perfect creature in the entire universe. I have to see what it's really like. What followed was a burst of static feedback. Sitting at the table, thinking back to the message that came in a few days ago, the Eagle Alliance representative looked pretty grim. Every member of the Kunlun Mountain Squad was part of the Eagle Alliance. Their most elite Special Forces soldiers. They've risked their lives countless times. They've run through hails of bullets. They've earned countless illustrious military merits. They've even pulled off countless impossible missions. A few of them even took part in The operation that eliminated the well-known terrorist leader. But even they could not make out what it was, even at the moment of their death. What the alien creature actually looked like, it felt like a bucket of ice water was dumped over his head in the dead of winter. Originally, the Southern Nation representative's excitement over discovering alien life was completely gone. His whole body went cold. A wave of fear rose in the Southern Nation representative's chest. He suddenly felt a sense of panic. If this alien life form goes berserk and starts destroying things, does Earth even have a way to fight back against it? Inside the council chamber, representatives from all countries were staring at a large screen. They were in the middle of a heated discussion. This morning, elite squads from all countries have finished assembling. They've already headed for Kunlun Mountain. They're preparing to search for the alien life form. Now representatives from all countries are gathered here. They're exchanging updates via radio. Ever since the satellite incident, no country is stupid enough to keep using satellites for surveillance anymore. I think we need to speed things up. Every single second is extremely valuable right now. That's right. Finding the alien life form quickly is also a show of good faith. Looking at the group of people having such an eager discussion, the Southern Nation representative could only feel his hands and feet go ice cold. He clenched his fists, panic rising inside him. Why did this alien life form come to Earth? What is its reason for being here? On Kunlun Mountain, the path that the Southern Nation Special Forces took before. Several days later, a new group of people arrived here. There were only 10 Special Forces soldiers in this group, but the other members of the team numbered a full 20 people, men and women alike, all wrapped up in thick winter clothes. They're all world-famous diplomatic experts. From the Hans Nation, Southern Nation, Jan Nation, Tsar Nation, Western Nation, Asan Nation, and so on. They didn't dare use helicopters. All of them hiked up the mountain on foot from the foot of Kunlun. During a break, a man breathing heavily asked the Special Forces soldier next to him, "How much longer will it take to get there?" The Special Forces soldier was from Hans Nation. He was keeping a close eye on the surroundings. He replied, "About a full day more." As soon as they heard this, the group of people further away all frowned, their expressions shifting. They've lived comfortable, privileged lives all this time. When have they ever had to endure hardship like this? They each represent their respective countries. They didn't say anything out loud. Their professional integrity kept them silent, but they were already cursing in their heads. "I'm so exhausted. What's the deal with this alien creature anyway?" I seriously doubt that this alien life form really has that much destructive power, but there were also people who were excited to push through. Alien life, wow. I never thought I'd get to make contact with one in my lifetime, and as part of the first group no less. This is the highest honor imaginable. I'm so curious what the alien life form looks like. The group let their minds wander. Some felt anticipation, some felt curious, others were complaining, but not a single one of them felt afraid. It never crossed their mind that their lives were at risk, just like they had no idea at all that not far from their feet, beneath the snow and wind, lay the corpses of a pack of wolves and a Special Forces soldier whose chest was pierced straight through. At the same time, I, who was prostrate on the peak of Kunlun Mountain, opened my eyes again. I shook the snow off my body. I slowly stood up. I gazed far into the east. I let out a long breath. A sudden gale swept through the mountains and forests out of nowhere. I slowly started heading down the mountain. I thought to myself, it's finally ripe. It's time to pay the Ao Nation a visit. Snow fell across the whole world. The icy wind on Kunlun Mountain never stops all year round. But today, for some reason, starting at some point, the cold wind completely disappeared. I kept my body at the size of 300 meters tall. I walked quietly across Kunlun Mountain. I let the glistening snowflakes fall on my body. Everything was completely silent. I slowly lifted one of my claws, palm facing up. I watched the snow fall from the sky. Ripples stirred in the calm lake of my heart. I actually owe this to the Sirius clan. This is a rare moment of peace for me, as a star beast. I've rarely had quiet moments like this in 30,000 years. Blood and fire have surrounded me for most of my life. I often open my eyes only to be faced with an enemy attack, either blades or swords, all coming for me. Over these 30,000 years, more than half of the time, I was either taking revenge or running for my life. If I hadn't been ambushed by the Sirius clan and their allies, and ended up on Earth by a stroke of luck, I'd probably be out slaughtering somewhere right now. I tugged at the corner of my mouth wordlessly. I slowly crushed the snow in my claw into powder. The originally calm look in my eyes was replaced by surging murderous intent. If the spiritual energy of an average planet is compared to rivers, lakes, and oceans. Then Earth's spiritual energy has already gone from dry, barren ground to having the early form of small streams. At this rate, it won't be long now, I expect. Earth's spiritual energy will fully recover, and it will be discovered by cultivation civilizations across the universe. When that happens, all the major cultivator civilizations will come knocking, I said calmly. I'll go get the treasure first. Then I'll settle all the scores slowly later. Letting an insult go unpunished isn't my style. The air seemed to drop a few degrees colder. I slowly continued walking down the mountain. After all, opportunities like this are rare. I plan to enjoy the snow as I travel. No one knows if I did it on purpose or by accident. The direction I was heading, it just so happens that it's not far from the UN team. Halfway up the Kunlun Mountains, rest spot of the UN team, 10 Special Forces soldiers are taking turns patrolling and guarding the area. Fully armed. Fully focused. The 20 people in the middle all look worn out and miserable. They've been walking for almost 30 hours straight. This kind of intense physical exertion is nothing for those Special Forces soldiers. But for them, who've lived soft, pampered lives, it nearly killed them. And even after all this effort, everyone still has nothing to show for it. Not a single trace of alien life has been found, someone mutters under their breath. Where the hell is this alien life? Why is there no sign of it at all? And as the altitude keeps climbing, the cold wind blows more and more fiercely. It's almost enough to freeze them solid into ice sculptures. Their original enthusiasm for searching for alien life is gradually fading. Hans, the team leader, speaks up. What's going on? The wind outside does seem to have died down a bit. Let's take this chance to hurry up with the search. The group drags themselves to their feet listlessly, forcing themselves to carry on. But before they've walked very far, all of them freeze in place. In the distant expanse of ice and snow, a massive figure slowly emerges. It's roughly dozens of stories tall, like a moving mountain range. Shaped like a killin, covered in black gold scales, glowing with the light of the stars. 2 horns grow from its head. 9 fiery red long tails trail behind it, like rivers of roaring flame. It walks slowly out of the ice and snow. Its pair of red gold eyes hold unimaginable majesty. Everyone is completely stunned. Every single one of them has their eyes wide open in shock. At that moment, team leader Hans hurries to yell, "Stay alert!" As the giant beast steps closer and closer, they feel a chill run down their spines. Their hands and feet go ice cold. Their whole bodies shake uncontrollably. Even their brains seem to have stopped working, watching the giant beast come closer step by step. All 30 of them are frozen stiff on the spot. Fear is clearly written across every single person's face. An indescribably terrifying pressure makes their souls tremble, let alone talking to each other. Just taking one look at it takes immense courage. Its giant black gold claws step on the snow, making soft, crunching sounds. This mountain-like starry beast slowly approaches. I gaze far into the east. My massive frame almost blots out the sky and the Star River. Every inch of my body is perfectly proportioned and coordinated. Black gold body, red gold eyes, 9 red gold flame tails. At this moment, it feels like I am the only thing that exists between heaven and earth. The oppressive force crashes over everyone. Everyone is shaking violently. No one can manage to make a sound. Their knees go weak. Their limbs feel like jelly. A woman suddenly drops to her knees. Unable to bear the pressure, she collapses limply and passes out on the ground. A series of thuds ring out one after another. All of the more than 20 diplomatic staff, without exception, under this almost suffocating pressure, roll their eyes back and faint. Only the 10 soldiers remain, kneeling on one knee, shaking violently. They strain to keep their eyes open and look up, trying to burn this scene deep into their memories. The whole world falls dead silent. Only the soft sound of footsteps can be heard. No one knows how much time passes. My figure slowly fades out of sight. The familiar cold wind of the Kunlun Mountains starts blowing again. Only at this moment do the 10 Special Forces soldiers go limp with exhaustion. Collapsing to the ground with a thud, they find this piercing cold wind so welcoming now. It's like they have never felt death so close before, as if that being only had to glance their way, and they would drop dead on the spot. Suddenly, one Special Forces soldier swallows hard. He says shakily, "Captain, it left the Kunlun Mountains. Where is it going?" "Hurry, notify headquarters. Blue skies and turquoise waters. Over the Pacific Ocean near the country of Oban, a medium-sized fishing boat is drifting on the water. The old man at the helm is Nakamura. He has over 40 years of fishing experience under his belt. He's an expert fisherman, Every year around this time, when spring turns to summer, he always comes back from every trip with a full catch. Both of his sons are with him today. His eldest son has inherited his fishing skills and will take over the helm one day. As for his younger son, he's a fairly famous streamer in Oban. The old rural man has no idea what a streamer is, but he knows his younger son is very filial. He can make money just by posting videos online, and he comes to help with fishing from time to time. For the old man, that's more than enough. The younger son came back today, bringing the best sack to help him fish, and mentioned he wants to shoot some footage to post online in a couple of days. The old man sighs a little. Luck's been pretty bad lately. We've cast the net several times and barely caught any fish. The younger son comforts him, while also feeling a little confused himself. It's okay, the footage we've got so far is already enough for me to make a whole video. The eldest son also sighs, but the fish seem extra scarce today. Yeah, it's kinda weird, hey. Wait, what's that over there? The eldest son was halfway through speaking, when his eyes suddenly go wide, pointing at a spot in the ocean far away. The other two are taken aback, then quickly turn to look. Just in time to see, under the distant sea surface, a huge shadow suddenly rises. It's almost bigger than their entire fishing boat. Old man Nakamura cries out in shock. His decades of experience let him recognize what it is almost immediately. A whale out on the water. The only creature that casts a shadow this big is a whale. But this shadow on the water seems a little too big. A normal whale is around 30 meters long at most, but this shadow in front of them is estimated to be over 50 meters long. That's totally unheard of. Old man Nakamura is over the moon with excitement. Could this be a deep-sea whale? The younger son hurries to yell, "Hurry up! I need to film this." If this really is a whale, this video is definitely gonna go viral. Bro, help me set up the camera. Hold it steady. He's a famous outdoor streamer from Oban, with hundreds of thousands of followers on YouTube. He's popular not just in Oban, but also in many other countries. He's been blowing up lately. If he really manages to film a whale, he'll definitely get even more famous. Old man Nakamura is also extremely excited. He even helps his younger son set up the camera himself. But after a little while, old man Nakamura frowns. He senses something is off. He says confusedly, "Why is the shadow getting bigger and bigger?" The shadow is already expanded to around 100 meters long and shows no signs of stopping. It's still growing larger and larger. The younger son says excitedly, "Maybe it's the legendary king of blue whales." The eldest son doesn't think much of it either. He excitedly steers the boat back a little. To avoid getting caught in the current, old man Nakamura stares at the sea surface, his eyebrows furrowed tightly. The next second, old man Nakamura's face completely changes, going from confused to terrified. He jumps nearly a foot in the air and roars, "Something's wrong. Hurry, get us out of here!" Amid the old man's terrified shouts, the shadow under the sea suddenly expands, going from 100 meters long to over 300 meters in the blink of an eye. Crash! Massive waves surge into the sky. It looks like the entire ocean has been flipped upside down. An unimaginable amount of water blasts upwards like a tsunami. A 40-meter-long giant blue whale leaps out of the sea. It lets out a silent cry alongside the turquoise waves. This sea creature is so mysterious and beautiful, the three people on the boat are completely stunned by the sight. They even forget the imminent danger right in front of them. So beautiful, but the next second, a terrifying giant black gold claw burst through the water surface with unparalleled destructive power and crushed its head in one grip. Bright scarlet blood splattered everywhere, as if a rain of blood was pouring down. The air was filled with a pungent stench of blood. The blood rain splattered all over the three men's faces, but none of the three men moved. They were completely stunned by the scene in front of them. I stood on the surface of the sea. My front paws, as if forged from steel, were firmly clamped around the whale's head. This over 40-meter-long creature was like a toy in my hand, with barely any weight at all. Flames burst out from my palms. In an instant, this creature, known as the largest on Earth, gave off a rich aroma of roasted meat. I opened my mouth to take a bite, but hesitated for a long time, and finally threw the whale back into the sea. The swat at the roasted whale stirred up 100-foot-high waves. I sighed. Creatures without spiritual energy are really unappetizing. The smell alone isn't enough. Good food is one of the few hobbies I've had over the past 30,000 years. As a star behemoth, I have a unique innate ability. I can devour and grow by eating. Many cultivated creatures in the universe are great tonics for me, just as many alien cultivated creatures see me as a great tonic for themselves. I sighed. I'd better go to Mount Fuji first. I hope that supreme treasure can give me some surprise. I slowly turned my head on the sea surface and headed towards the kingdom of Auburn. Long after I left, on the fishing boat that hadn't capsized amid the huge waves, the three men slowly opened their mouths in a daze. Shock completely overwhelmed their fear. Old man Nakamura wiped the blood off his face and mumbled dazedly, "What kind of creature is that? It's way too terrifying. It was even standing on the surface of the sea. How is that even possible?" His two sons shook their heads blankly. If it weren't for the blood on the sea surface and the pungent smell lingering in the air, they would have thought it was all a dream. Old man Nakamura glanced at the whale lying on the sea surface in the distance, that was still steaming and giving off a savory aroma. The corners of his mouth twitched violently twice. It even grilled the fish to eat. His second son numbly took down the video camera. He wiped it clean, suddenly realizing he had captured the whole scene. After recording the footage, the second son didn't edit it at all and uploaded the filmed footage directly to the internet. Old man Nakamura's second son is humorous and witty and quite handsome. He is a famous top streamer in the Kingdom of Auburn, with hundreds of thousands of followers online. He is especially well known among the younger generation in Auburn. Most of them have heard of his name, so when he released the video from the fishing boat, within just a few minutes, the views exceeded 100,000. Countless people clicked on the video one after another. The missing person is back. Finally a new video. No ad this time? Did Nakamura finally grow a conscience? I have the same fishing boat at home. Jealous, right? At first, they thought it was just an ordinary fisherman's vlog. But the host is a handsome guy, and he's really funny too, so countless people watched it with great interest. Barrages kept popping up online, so handsome. I really want Nakamura to go fishing with me. When the video passed the halfway mark, and they saw the whale appear, they were completely blown away, but this shock only lasted for half a second, before they were stunned by the next scene. What's going on? Is that a blue whale? That blue whale's head was crushed by a claw. What kind of creature is that? It's almost as tall as the Tokyo Tower, right? My appearance made everyone watching the video freeze for a moment. The next second, countless barrages flooded in, almost covering the entire video. It's so beautiful. Its eyes look like starry skies and seem to be flowing with molten lava. Are those 9 rivers of flame its tail? That's so cool. Look at those gorgeous black gold scales. The special effects are on par with Hollywood blockbusters. This is such a big production. I have to say, gossip has no borders. People all over the world react the same way. To interesting stuff. It feels so immersive. Even though I know it's fake, I still got chills down my spine. It splattered blood all over those people, even all over their faces. This behemoth is so badass, crushing a blue whale with one paw. Like it's a toy. The hype kept growing, a video that was only 10 minutes long. In just half an hour, overwhelmingly outperformed the Golden Meteor trending topic, and forcefully took the top spot on YouTube's hot search list. That evening, countless people were excited. People were discussing the short video everywhere. But no one thought what was in the video was real. Because a 300-meter-tall behemoth, tearing a whale's skull apart with its bare hands or something, only happens in movies. No one believed it at all. They were indeed shocked by the behemoth in the video. The oppressive feeling of a 300-meter mountain-like creature, even through the screen, felt like it could be clearly felt. At the same time, on the distant sea surface, old man Nakamura's second son was still sitting on the boat, unable to come back to his senses. He looked at his phone. He wiped the scarlet blood off his phone with his clothes and typed a few words dazedly. It's all real. Countless eager netizens popped up immediately. Got Nakamura in the front row, he's alive. Looking at the replies that hit 99+ almost instantly, none of the countless replies believed him. Nakamura was stunned for a moment. He wiped the blood off his face and threw his phone into the sea. He wanted to be left alone. He looked at the sea surface ahead, at the roasted whale, the Nakamura family, who had slowly come back to their senses a little. All 3 men squatted on the deck, holding their heads. Their entire worldview had collapsed. What on earth is going on here? At the same time, my destination is Mount Fuji, as the national mountain of the Kingdom of Auburn. It is a famous scenic tourist spot. Every year when spring turns to summer, countless Auburn cherry blossoms are in full bloom. The sky is dyed cherry red. Flower spirits turn into bird demons. Mount Fuji has countless historical relics. The Auburn flower petals carry the fragrance of time. Countless tourists get lost in the beautiful scenery, but very few people know. Right under Mount Fuji, in the area where the Auburn trees bloom the most beautifully, hundreds of meters underground, lies the top research institute of the Kingdom of Auburn. It is a research institute that only very few people, such as the Emperor and Prime Minister of Auburn, have the right to know about. Tens of thousands of meters of underground space were hollowed out. It was built with an unimaginable amount of funding. The Ganryu Research Institute. This is the top research institute in Auburn, bar none. There are abundant rare minerals under Mount Fuji. The Ganryu Research Institute was founded at the end of World War II. It has a history of half a century so far. To this day, the researchers at the institute still believe that if the Ganryu Research Institute had been established a few years earlier, in the war against Germany, they would never have been driven back like dogs and suffered such a miserable and humiliating defeat. The Ganryu Research Institute. Very few people know that it controls the most advanced technology in Auburn. Its annual funding cost is an astronomical figure. The sun set, while the place hundreds of meters under Mount Fuji was brightly lit. This extremely advanced fortress can be called the crystallization of human wisdom. Every inch of it is made of the hardest alloy in the world today. Its toughness is several times higher than that of diamond. It can withstand any explosion. Even the most powerful nuclear bomb in the world today can do nothing to this underground laboratory. Inside the Ganryu Research Institute, countless researchers in white coats were walking around. The very center of the fortress, in the lead researcher's studio, there are two middle-aged men in lab coats. One of them finally gets a rare break. Holding a cup of coffee, drops in a cube of sugar, stirs it gently, passes it to someone in the distance who is also wearing a research lab coat. "Here you go, what are you watching?" The man takes the coffee, takes a sip. "Thanks." The man stares at the video on his phone, says casually, "Just a short video. It was posted half an hour ago, and it's already top of the trending list." Hearing that, the middle-aged man gets curious too. The person in it talks really interestingly. "My daughter seems to be a big fan. I want to take a look too." Sipping his coffee, the man comments, "This video is actually really good. It's as good as some Hollywood blockbusters." The middle-aged man beside him makes another cup of coffee, takes a sip and glances at the screen, then shakes his head in disdain. Could this be any more fake? Movies these days are totally unrealistic. Given the current oxygen level on Earth, it's impossible to support creatures over 100 meters tall. Anything larger would be crushed under its own weight. There's buoyancy in the ocean, but even there, 50 to 60 meters is the limit. Even back in the Cretaceous, the age of dinosaurs, the largest and longest ones like Diplodocus, Seismosaurus, Amphiquilius, were only 80 to 90 meters long at most. This thing is like 300 meters tall, right? That's as tall as Tokyo Tower. The middle-aged man gets more disdainful as he talks. His tone is full of sarcasm. It's even standing on the sea surface. It's misleading the younger generation. The other man sighs too. You've got a point. If there really was a creature over 300 meters long, running wild in our great nation, it would be dead in no time anyway. The middle-aged man snorts. Exactly. Look at that giant beast in the video. It's covered in scales and has a tail like fire. Apart from looking cool and putting on a show, it's completely useless. After finishing his coffee, the middle-aged man pats his colleague on the shoulder. All right, let's get back to the experiment. Our research is at a critical stage right now. We can't afford any mistakes. I heard the Prime Minister even sent a guard team stationed near Mount Fuji. They're taking this experiment very seriously. The other man nods and puts down his phone. That small sapling is really bizarre. It actually grows underground? We have no idea how it manages to survive. 80% of the researchers are getting ready to collect samples. If we can figure it out completely, it might be a major breakthrough. Meanwhile, somewhere else, the sky darkens. Dark clouds fill the sky along a desolate, unvisited coastline. At the edge of the ocean, a small glimmer of light suddenly appears, and the light is getting closer and closer to the shore. It takes a long time to make out what it is. It's a giant beast. With 9 crimson gold tails, they spread out like a sea of blazing flames, just like a phoenix's. Its black gold scales, even under the cover of dark clouds, glimmer like starlight, lighting up the entire stretch of ocean and shore. That glowing giant beast is me. I move very slowly, unhurried and steady. My 300-meter tall body, I, the giant beast, step onto the shore calmly. Not stepping on the reefs, though. The air seems to form a set of steps. I step on them and slowly rise into the air. My movements are effortless and noble. The glow in my crimson gold pupils is enough to send chills down anyone's spine. The moment I rise high into the air, Dark clouds across the sky suddenly churn violently. In an instant, howling gales sweep through. Lightning flashes and thunder rumbles. A fisherman who was about to go to bed gets up in the distance. He stands up and closes the window, looking at the flashing lightning and raging wind outside. He rubs his eyes sleepily. Is a storm coming? Dark clouds block out the sky, covering up the dazzling flames on my body. There weren't many people on the streets to begin with, so almost no one notices me. I look down. The city is full of colorful lights. I sigh with emotion. The city's on Earth. Humans are so fragile. These buildings, to me, are like they're made of glass. Extraordinarily fragile. If I just blow a breath, the wind it creates will turn this whole place into ruins. I look far into the distance in all directions. I remember there was once a race whose innate gift was material manipulation. They could use it in outer space, sealing off everything, dulling all 5 senses, disabling all supernatural powers. They once joined the hunt for me, causing me quite a lot of trouble. It was also that time that I met my first friend. That guy was also a rare exotic beast from the universe. If it weren't for him, even if I had managed to escape that time, I would have been seriously injured. I think fondly, I wonder how they are doing now. They better stay safe in the starry sky. Wait till I finish playing this game. Then I'll go meet them. I walk slowly through the air. A 300-meter body is really not that big. Adult star behemoths can feed on stars. I can't do that yet. But my true form is as big as a star, though not as big as Earth. It's about 2/3 the size of the moon. I'm only 30,000 years old after all, by human growth standards. I'm just a toddler that just got weaned, but if I reveal my true form, I'd still be standing in space, big enough that anyone on Earth could see me just by looking up. And when I reach adulthood, even if I don't cultivate, just based on my size alone, I'll probably be far larger than the sun. I marvel, to be fair, in the universe. Earth is way too small, so tiny it's almost immeasurable. Even the entire solar system is just the most remote, desolate area. My next target was originally the ancestral land of the Sirius clan. It's a crescent-shaped island floating in the boundless starry sky, as big as half the solar system, surrounded by countless stars. I think for a moment, maybe after Earth's spiritual energy recovers, empowered by the world's spiritual energy, this planet will expand a bit. I'm not intentionally taking my original form right now. Instead, I shrunk down to 300 meters. I did it to stay hidden, so cultivators from outside won't notice and become alert. After all, I have a personality where I hold grudges and pay back every slight. I'm planning to set up a game on Earth, so all the external cultivators that come to Earth, who have a grudge against me, will never leave alive. A 300-meter giant beast, though it's shocking enough on Earth. But if you put it outside the planet, they'll just laugh it off at most. I look up at the endless night sky. Come as soon as possible. I hope I won't have to wait too long. As I think this, I move forward slowly. The city passes beneath my feet. The bright lights flash by. Before I know it, it starts to rain. In the dark night sky, I walk alone towards the direction of Mount Fuji. At this moment, thousands of lights are on. No one notices. That right above their heads, a giant creature is walking through the air. Only a few drunkards who stumbled and fell to the ground look up. When they lift their heads, they see in the drizzling dark clouds a faint glimmer of crimson spark flickering. One of them takes another big sip of alcohol. So beautiful, I think, as I look down. A city that never sleeps comes into view. That is the Iron Tower of the capital of the state of Aoban. At this moment, down below, a man is bragging right under the tower. Look, this is the well-known sky tree of the Aoban capital. It's the most beautiful scenery in the entire universe, bar none. I'm not laughing or stomping my feet at how vast the universe is. Beings that have never seen the true face of the universe always think they are the center of everything. I just feel sorry for that man. I have seen stars explode and shatter in the universe. Black holes collapse into utter nothingness. The radiance bursting forth at that moment is the true splendor. I let out a breath. I walk slowly surrounded by blazing flames. Is that Mount Fuji up ahead? The plant has already fully matured. Just as I am walking toward Mount Fuji, the alarm suddenly blares wildly at the Aoban Capital Security Bureau. The shrill alarm, which feels like it could choke people to death, resounds through the entire bureau. Dozens of people rush out of their rooms in a panic, running straight toward the control room. The control room door is wide open. What's wrong? What happened? As soon as they step inside, they see the huge screen that takes up most of the room. A scan map of the Aoban capital is displayed on it. A variegated shadow over 300 meters wide covers the Aoban Capital Iron Tower. What the hell is this? In the huge room of the Aoban Capital Security Office, everyone is filled with extreme terror. There is actually an unidentified flying object hovering right above the Aoban capital. You should know that ever since the end of World War II, Aoban has attached great importance to national defense. Decades have passed. Aoban's defense system has long been impregnable, especially in terms of air defense. Even the most advanced stealth aircraft of Han's, the southern country, can't sneak past it. Sakamoto Shi grips the wooden table tightly. His eyes are completely bloodshot. How could this happen at such a critical moment? As the highest-ranking official of the Aoban Capital Security Office, Sakamoto Shi knows. Recently, near the Aoban capital, a scientific research project has entered its critical stage. It seems to be related to a peculiar tree. The Prime Minister even specifically told him to tighten security. But something actually came to cause trouble now. Sakamoto Shi stares fixedly at the screen. Veins are popping out on his forehead. Could Hans be behind this? Have you confirmed where this thing is? His subordinate replies immediately, sir. We can't confirm its location. Sakamoto Shi frowns. Is it because of the heavy rain and thunder? One staff member turns his head, his face covered in sweat, looking quite terrified. No, the technology of this thing is far more advanced than our current technology. We can't even confirm its actual size. It seems to be jamming the radar. That's why a 300-meter projection shows up on the radar. Sakamoto Shi has a grim look on his face. He nods. That makes sense. Right now it's pouring rain outside. Lightning flashes and thunder rumbles non-stop, let alone a 300-meter aircraft. Even a 30-meter one would be struck to smithereens by lightning. Sakamoto asks, when did this thing appear? The technician types rapidly on the keyboard, sweating profusely. It seems to have appeared out of thin air dozens of minutes ago. The only thing we can confirm so far is that its speed seems very slow. We can't confirm its size or location. The radar signal is also flickering. This is so strange, the Aoban military technician thinks to himself. He is extremely shocked in his heart. He can't even imagine the existence of such level of technology. But sir, the helicopters have already been dispatched. Our best pilots are flying them to intercept it. We have already sent out radio signals. But there is no response from the other side.